It's been a while since I've done any YouTube stuff. Actually, it's been about 2 years since the last time I recorded properly for YouTube, and I did a stupid challenge called 40 Marks in 40 Days. This time, I've got another challenge. I'm going to do a podcast style vlog with my wife. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Jen, and I'm your wife.
Don't tell me.
That's what I do.
Tell people.
That's what I do. I'm your wife.
And what does that entail?
What does it not entail? Looking after.
You're my PA, my help,
Yeah.
you look after me.
You're a caterer.
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna do this sort of maybe weekly or bi-weekly or 2 weekly vlogs on basically our progress updates on what I've managed to get you to sign up for.
Yeah, our new big goal, our joint goal.
Our joint goal, which is
Hyrox.
Hyrox. If you don't know what Hyrox is, you've been living under a rock. So,
Give us a lowdown on what Hyrox is.
Hyrox is a fitness race. It is basically an 8k run, and after every kilometre you're going to do something stupid to make the next kilometre even worse.
Selling it.
But I managed to convince Jen to sign up for it as a birthday present to me, because you were putting it off for so long. You just didn't want to do it.
No, because it's something that's out with my comfort zone, I guess.
So, let's break down a little bit about Jen. Jen is, apart from my caterer, Jen is, how would you describe are you a long distance runner? Are you a marathon runner? Are you?
I guess long distance.
Just a runner?
As a hobby.
As a hobby.
Yeah.
Tell the camera.
Long distance running as a hobby.
I'm gonna break down to the camera your accolades. Like what? So Jen's just come recently off the Chicago Marathon,
Yeah. So.
or maybe not so recent anymore. And
So that was the start of October.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
And Jen has been looking for a new goal, a new challenge.
It's always hard after you hit a big goal. I think you've kind of ticked that box, you've achieved it, and then you go through this phase where it's almost like it's a come down. You've ticked your goal. What's next? And you're kind of in a bit of a
Funk.
yeah.
Is that how you felt?
FUNK. Yeah.
You felt you're in a proper funk.
Yeah.
Funk's a fun word to say.
Funk is a weird word to say. But that's exactly what it was, and I think loads of people experience it, not just like runners. I think it can apply to like any sort of competition, any sort of big, hairy, audacious goal that you have. Any of your BHAGs, once you've achieved it or completed it, it's like, oh,
Now
well, what am I training for now? So yeah, I think Hyrox is a new goal for me. I've never really had a Hyrox type goal before.
So we're a couple of weeks into our Hyrox training. We only really decided this week to do it. So we're 2 weeks into our Hyrox training.
Well, 3, but I had to bail at the weekend. So
I'm 3 weeks into my Hyrox training.
I am too.
Jen's 2 weeks into her Hyrox training. And we thought, actually, why don't we make like a little YouTube series on this and basically, because like our training is exactly the same, but it's polar opposite.
Yeah.
So for Jen, it's about exposure to the movements
Yeah.
that aren't running, because you can run. Like I think we've established sub 3 hour marathon. I'm going to put that up in a big. It's so I lost what I was saying.
Yeah, the movement.
Yes.
Like,
So this is why we were here.
which I think I probably recognised after session 2.
So session 2, we did a big it was like a 60-minute AMRAP type thing. It was three 20-minute AMRAPs, and the first 20-minute AMRAP, I split it. Was it 70-30? I did 70% of the work. You did 30% of the work. And then on the second AMRAP, I got the. You know, I can do it 50-50. Like, you don't have to. How am I going to get better at the movements? And we had a little sulk. So I thought, okay, fine, we'll go 50-50. And then what happened?
I pretty much couldn't walk for 2 days after.
Jen was broken with DOMS. Now, me being a professional coach knew this was going to happen, hence why I want to do 70% of the work. I come from a CrossFit background, which means I'm super used to the volume and the intensity of the movements, but I'm terrible at the running aspect of it. So that's where our training's exactly the same, but completely opposite. So your focus is on movement, exposure, getting better at the movements, actually nailing the movements so that you don't get no rep, and that you can perform them to the standard that's required. And for me, it's about building an aerobic capacity that I can keep up with you in a run. Which it's not going to happen. It's not going to be fun anyway.
Yeah, it's teamwork. But I think just going back to that session 2 and my kind of DOMs after, I think my issue there was, obviously when we first started seeing each other, my probably training was definitely more heavily weighted towards the gym. So I was in the gym far more than I was running, and then it's only like the past 4 years that's kind of flipped for me.
There was like maybe a period of like a year or so you didn't even go in a gym.
Yeah, but I think going back to that session last weekend, like my issue is in my mind. I think I used to do this all the time. This is fine. I can manage this. I mean, so why can't I handle 50% of the exercises?
You almost have to have like.
I need to remind myself that I'm not training the same way as I was.
You're a gender runner.
On identity.
You got to remember now that these movements are. They're not. No, it's not that they're not second nature to you, but they're going to hurt you a lot more than they're going to hurt me. But at the same time, we did the 40-minute run. You're just like prancing around, your ponytail swishing, looking like a nice wee deer, and I'm dying. You're dragging me along. You're like, what are you doing? Pick your feet up. The whole time I'm like, pick my feet up. I can't feel my feet. Never mind, pick them up.
That's why it's interesting. So we're kind of taking each other along for the journey in different ways because we're both stronger at the different things.
Yeah, I think that's probably there's a really good lesson in there that if you want to get better at anything, train with someone better than you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like there's no, and it's completely gone out of my head, but it's damn it, it's relative intensity.
Yeah.
So there's relative intensity. What's relative to you in running? So your 40-minute run is you can go at a pace that I can't hold for 40 minutes. So it's not relative to me.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to bring your relativity down, and I have to bring mine up.
Yeah.
In order to meet somewhere in the middle. But by doing that, you're getting an easier run, and I'm actually having to push harder and work harder. And we also do the same. So I'm having to work harder on the running, and you're there to help push me through it and keep me going.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the movements and the gym side of things, there's a flip. Whereas the movements are a little bit harder for you, and I can take a little bit more of the load.
Yeah.
And it works well because I'm trying to keep up with you, and you're trying to keep up with me. And there's this sort of magic blur in the middle that happens.
It just works, or it's supposed to. It's supposed
to work
on paper.
On paper.
Yeah.
Well,
so we'll see come March if it works.
We'll see come March if it works. But how's training been this week?
Well, we're only Tuesday, but I had a bit of a blip at the weekend because I was unwell on Sunday. So for me, that's always hard taking a full day off. Like,
why do you think it's hard? Jen does something every day.
And that's just what my body's used to. Like, my body's just used to moving. So for me, on Sunday, when I pretty much had to resign myself to the fact that, okay, I I'm gonna have to have a
Resign
sofa
yourself
day.
to the sofa.
Yeah, that was quite hard for me because my body doesn't respond well to it. My body just, I don't know, it's so used to being able to move, and that's kind of what helps my brain as well. So yeah, a little bit of a blip on Sunday, whereby I had to move my long run to yesterday, Monday, but it worked quite well because I managed to run with a friend, so that's always really, really enjoyable. But probably as a result, that was probably my longest run I've done since before Chicago.
Mm.
So today's session, I was kind of thinking, halfway through the session, I was like, I am not hitting this pace. Why am I not hitting this pace? This should be a lot easier. And then it wasn't until after I thought, well, I did a 1 hour 45 run yesterday, so maybe that's why this isn't going to plan. So yeah, I mean, tick the boxes so far this week, but got my gym session in last night, so
Good.
yeah, just
All
need
the
to
movement
stick
done?
to my plan. Yeah.
I think I missed a huge part actually. How did you feel when I signed you up to Haydox? Because you didn't quite, like I'd explained it to you, but you didn't really...
I didn't really know what I was letting myself in for, and in a way, that's probably why I agreed to do it.
So here's a fun story. So I finally convinced Instagram, well, I didn't convince Instagram. I asked Instagram and all the followers on there, should we convince Jen to sign up to Haydox? And they were like, yes, undeniably yes. So then I was like, right, I've done it. I've signed Jen up to Haydox. Me, being a fitness professional who's done CrossFit events, numerous different competitions, all I got was bombarded with messages being like, yep, you're screwed. Yeah, good luck running with Jen. Like,
Talk about the pressure on me.
And how many messages did you get? Loads, being like, you're going to smash it, you're going to do so well.
Yeah, great, thanks guys. I'm not stressed now.
Big time.
No, I was obviously nervous. It's like fear of the unknown, isn't it? But at the same time, like I was saying, excited. It's a new goal, something I've not really had to work towards before. So yeah, it's a fresh challenge.
You enjoying the training?
Yeah. I'm liking the couple of sessions that we have done together. It's kind of bringing us back to when we first started seeing each other. We would go to the gym together all the time. We would train together all the time. And then that kind of just stopped happening because I was running more and I couldn't fit in as many gym sessions because it was, yeah, my priorities shifted, I think.
Oh, cheap then.
Yeah, away from me. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so it's been nice in that respect, I think. Although last weekend, we didn't really talk about how we were going to approach the workout.
No.
And you probably just thought...
We did talk about
We didn't. I thought we were going to have a bit of like a pre-workout brief or something, but we literally just launched straight in, and I kind of thought...
Just to preface it, did you have the workout?
Yeah, but
she had the workout.
I had the workout, like, do this, then this, then this. I didn't really understand, like, the transition between each exercise and, like, the fact that I needed to be within, a metre of you at all times. Like, I hadn't appreciated that, and little things like when you were doing, or when I was doing half the reps, and then I suddenly, in my head, I was just counting in my head, I was like, okay, I've got to 10, and then I put them down, and you were like, you need to communicate that to me, that you're about to put them down, because otherwise I'm not ready to go. So it was probably a really good learning, but I just...
Really good learning.
No, I didn't probably not do that again. But yeah, I guess I should have had to think about that beforehand. And you should have told me.
You should have listened.
You didn't say anything.
You didn't argue though, you just got told.
Oh, I argued in my head.
Oh, right, okay. Shut and pick up the wobble.
Yeah.
Alright, anything else? Updates?
Updates. No, don't think so.
Where's Rex?
We've relegated him to downstairs because he has been finding and hoarding every single pair of socks that we seem to have up here. We had a washing pile up here, and all of a sudden all the socks just, they're everywhere.
Socks gone.
Yeah.
The sock thief.
Yeah. But what about your training? You've got a bit of a goal before High Rocks.
Yeah. Survive training, stay injury free. Yeah, I compete next weekend in the Scottish National Weightlifting competition. So my training's been it's been good in a way. So like, when it comes to High Rocks, I'm not worried about any of the strength stuff. Like I know fine, I'm going to be able to move a sled, pull a sled, lunge, wall ball. I know I can do all the movements. It's literally, for me, it's improving the capacity and improving the volume of running that my body can take injury free.
Yeah.
At the same time as training for weightlifting.
Yeah.
So it's finding the balance of basically how much my knees and hips can take, and then how much I can recover from before the next session. At the minute, I'm only doing 2 big running sessions a week. I'm doing like intervals, 1K intervals on the first part of the week, built up to 4 by 1K. Then I'm going to do 5 by 1K, then 6 by 1K. And I'll just keep adding on the 1 kilometers until they become easier, and then I'll increase the intensity so that they become more effortful.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that they're not effortful at the minute. Like, I'm still trying to run a sub 5 minute kilometer every time, but I want to get that down to like low 4s at a minimum.
But it's also just getting used to that like time on feet aspect of being able to run the 1K reps at quicker than normal pace. So that'll come.
Yeah. And then my second run of the week is, if it's not a second run, it's like our long conditioning one with you, which is a little bit more like slightly lower heart rate, but more aerobic based.
Yeah.
Quote unquote zone 2.
Yeah.
If there's such a thing. But yeah, so that's my training.
Cool.
Try to blend the weightlifting with running.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy.
Hybrid athlete.
Yeah.
Athlete.
That's what I find hard, especially if you've got sessions, because you don't want to go and do, like, your body probably reacts better to it, but you don't want to go and do like a heavy weightlifter session and then your running session the next day suffers as a result of that. It's hard to get the right balance.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
One day after another.
Yeah.
But we'll be able to focus on after next weekend. I'll be able to drop a weightlifting session and focus more on running.
Yeah.
And building that base. I hope.
Yeah.
That's the plan anyway.
Good plan.
Alright, when's our next weekly?
Weekly?
Weekly
Yeah.
vlog? What does bi-weekly mean to you?
Every second week?
Bi-weekly is twice a week.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Bi-weekly is like every second week. I think you're wrong there, mate. I am.
No.
I am.
I don't think I am.
Yeah, if you have a bi-weekly meeting,
Every,
you have it.
twice a week.
No. Yeah, every second week. Okay, poll on the bi-weekly definition then. I'm saying every second week, you're saying twice a week.
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. It's every second week. If you had a meeting twice a week, it would be like a meeting twice a week.
Okay, bi-weekly.
Okay, on that note, we will be issuing a poll to determine what that definition is.
We'll find out who's right and what's right. I think I'm right. You think you're right?
Okay.
Shock.
So weekly.
Weekly or every second
Yeah,
week.
depending on what we have to report based on how our sessions are going.
Alright.
Sounds good.
Final words? Here. Did you know the Spanish national anthem has no words? None at all.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Alright. Peace.
Bye.